I travel a lot for work now. Not the glamorous kind of travel either. No beaches, no resorts, no cocktails next to pools. Mostly random towns, cheap hotels, and conference buildings that all smell vaguely like carpet cleaner and sadness. Last November, my company sent me to a small town in northern Colorado for a 3-day training event. The town itself was quiet, almost weirdly quiet. One of those places where everything closes by 9 p.m. and the streets feel abandoned after dark. The hotel they booked for me wasn't some major chain either. It was called the Pine Ridge Lodge. Old building, 3 floors, flickering neon sign outside. The kind of place where you immediately check the door lock twice. I arrived around 8 p.m. after a 4-hour drive through snow. The parking lot was almost empty except for an old pickup truck and a black SUV parked near the back. Inside, the lobby was dimly lit and smelled like dust and burnt coffee. There was an older man working the front desk, thin, balding, looked exhausted. He barely even looked at me while checking me in. "Room 214, he muttered, sliding the key card over. Not even a smile. I asked if the place had food anywhere nearby. He just shrugged. Vending machines on the 2nd floor. That was apparently the full customer service package. I took the elevator up to the 2nd floor. The hallway lights buzzed overhead with that faint electrical hum old hotels always have. There were only 4 rooms on my side of the hallway. Then a blank stretch of wall. No more rooms after mine. At least that's what I thought. My room itself wasn't horrible. Old furniture, floral carpet, loud heater rattling beneath the window. But I was tired enough not to care. I dropped my bags, locked the door, and laid down for a while scrolling through my phone. Around 10 p.m., I started hearing noises. At first, I assumed it was pipes. Then footsteps, very slow footsteps, directly outside my room. I muted my phone and listened carefully. The footsteps stopped right outside my door. Silence. Then 3 soft knocks. Not housekeeping knocks. Slow knocks, like somebody testing whether I was awake. I froze for a second before finally forcing myself to look through the peephole. Nobody. The hallway was empty. I opened the door anyway. Nothing there. But as I stepped into the hallway, I noticed something strange. At the far end near the ice machine, somebody disappeared around the corner. Just a quick glimpse. A dark hoodie. I called out, "Hello." No answer. I went back into my room and locked the door again. I told myself it was probably another guest being weird. Still, I shoved the desk chair under the doorknob before going to sleep. Some time later that night, I woke up needing to use the bathroom. The room was completely dark except for the blinking green light on the smoke detector. That's when I heard it. A metallic sound. Very faint. Like a door slowly creaking open. Inside my room, I sat upright immediately. The sound stopped. I grabbed my phone and turned on the flashlight. The bathroom door was open. Closet door closed. Window shut. Nothing looked wrong. Then I noticed something I could have sworn wasn't there earlier. The wardrobe beside the TV looked slightly pulled away from the wall. Only by an inch or 2. I stared at it for a while. Maybe housekeeping moved it. Maybe I was tired. I convinced myself not to be paranoid and went back to bed. The next morning, I had training all day. Honestly, by afternoon, I'd mostly forgotten about the weird noises until I returned to my room that evening. The wardrobe had definitely moved. Now there was a visible gap between it and the wall, and behind it, I could see darkness, a space. My stomach dropped instantly. I walked over slowly and pushed the wardrobe farther aside. There was a narrow door hidden behind it, an actual door, painted the exact same color as the wall. No handle on the outside, just a small metal latch. For a few seconds, I honestly thought maybe it connected to another room. But something felt wrong immediately. The door was already slightly open, and cold air was coming from inside. I should have called the front desk right then. I know that. But curiosity is a stupid thing, especially when you're alone. I pulled out my phone flashlight and slowly opened the hidden door wider. Behind it was a narrow hallway. Concrete walls, no wallpaper, no carpet, just exposed pipes running along the ceiling. The hallway stretched farther than my flashlight could reach. I remember laughing nervously to myself because I genuinely couldn't process what I was looking at. It looked like something from a maintenance tunnel. I stepped inside. The air smelled damp, moldy. The hidden hallway ran behind the hotel rooms. And that's when I noticed something that made my skin crawl. Small vents in the walls. Every few feet, I realized those vents connected directly into the hotel rooms. Whoever was inside this hallway could hear everything happening inside the rooms, maybe even watch through them. I suddenly felt extremely unsafe. I turned around to go back into my room and froze because my hotel room door had closed behind me. Not slammed, not fast, just slowly drifted shut. I rushed back and pushed it open again. Nobody there. But now my room suddenly felt different, like someone had been inside while I wasn't looking. I grabbed the hidden door and shut it immediately, then shoved the wardrobe back in place. I spent the next hour trying to convince myself it was some old maintenance access corridor. Still, I couldn't calm down. Around midnight, I called the front desk. No answer. I called again. Nothing. Finally, I decided to go downstairs myself. The lobby was empty. No clerk, no TV, no music, just silence. I rang the little desk bell twice. Nothing. Then I noticed something sitting on the counter, a notebook, open to a page filled with room numbers. Next to several room numbers were check marks. 214 had a check mark too. Underneath it was written, "Still alone." I felt every hair on my arm stand up. I backed away from the counter immediately. That's when I heard movement upstairs, a loud thud, followed by footsteps, fast footsteps, coming from the second floor. I ran to the elevator and repeatedly pressed the button. Nothing. Too slow. The footsteps were getting louder, so I bolted for the stairwell instead. As I reached the second floor, I saw someone standing at the end of the hallway near my room. Tall, wearing a dark jacket, just standing there motionless. I stopped dead. The person slowly tilted their head toward me, then walked into my room. I sprinted down the hallway. My room door was open. I rushed inside and immediately saw the wardrobe moved away from the hidden doorway again. The hidden passage door was wide open. I grabbed my laptop bag and keys without even thinking. Then I heard movement inside the hidden hallway. Slow footsteps. Coming closer, I ran for the room door. But before I could leave, a voice spoke from inside the hidden passage. "Hey." A man's voice, calm, almost friendly. "You're not supposed to see this." I ran, full sprint down the hallway. I didn't even care about my other luggage anymore. I hit the stairwell door and practically fell down the stairs. As I reached the lobby exit, I heard another stairwell door slam open above me. He was following me. I burst outside into the freezing parking lot. My car keys slipped from my hand onto the pavement. Behind me, the hotel doors opened slowly. I looked up. The man stood in the doorway, staring at me. Middle-aged, thin, same bald guy from the front desk. Only now he was smiling. Not a normal smile either, the kind that makes your stomach turn. He took one slow step outside, then another. I finally grabbed my keys, unlocked my car, and jumped inside. The second I locked the doors, he suddenly started running toward the car. I reversed so hard, I almost hit another vehicle. The man stopped in the middle of the parking lot, just watching me leave. Still smiling, I drove straight to a gas station about 10 minutes away and called police. 2 officers eventually met me there. I explained everything: the hidden hallway, the notebook, the man chasing me. At first, they clearly thought I was exaggerating, until one of them contacted the hotel. No answer. They drove over there while I waited at the gas station. About 30 minutes later, one of the officers called me back. His voice sounded very different now, more serious. He asked me again exactly where I found the hidden door. Apparently, there really was a maintenance corridor behind several rooms. But according to him, it wasn't supposed to be accessible anymore. Parts of it had been sealed off years ago. I asked if they found the hotel clerk. The officer paused for a second, then said the lobby was empty when they arrived. No employees, no guests, only a few parked cars outside, including the black SUV. The officer also told me they found several small holes drilled into the walls inside the corridor, facing directly into guest rooms. I felt sick hearing that. I asked if they arrested the man. He said no. But then he asked me something that honestly still bothers me. "Are you sure he worked there?" I said yes immediately. I saw him at check-in. The officer went quiet again. Then he told me the hotel owner had died almost 8 months earlier, and according to records, the hotel was supposed to be closed for renovations. To this day, I still don't know who checked me into that room, or why my room number had a check mark next to it. But I know one thing: I'll never stay in another cheap roadside hotel again, especially if there's a wardrobe pushed slightly away from the wall.